Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about compensating and owning cars, because I get this comment a lot, but mostly because I work out. I was like, why the hell is my steering so light? Touring mode. I don't mind the light steering feel on touring mode. It's a nice feel. It's very easy, but I guess I just prefer a stiffer, little bit more demanding setup. Anyway, back to the video. Because I am rather short and I work out, I get a lot of people that, oh, well, you work out because you're compensating for something, or, you got little man syndrome, so that's why you work out, or you do this, you do that, or you do the other. And then I buy a Camaro and I own a Harley. So between the two of them, everybody seems to think that I'm just compensating for all of this, whatever. And I must say, I do not feel that owning a Camaro is compensating in any way. The Camaro is a really great car. It's really nice. It's really fast. But it's not the fastest. It's not the nicest. It's not even that expensive in the car world. It's just a bit more than a Chevy Cruze. About double the amount of money of a Chevy Cruze. But it's a fair bit cheaper than a Corvette. And then when you talk exotics, this car, you could buy 10 of them, and it wouldn't even amount to one. So I don't understand how buying this car can be compensating, or working out can be compensating. I did spend 11 years in the hospital. Yeah, about 11 years in the hospital, 11 years on prednisone, and I mean, I had a pretty horrific childhood that seemed like it was never going to get better. What the frig is that guy doing? Let's put my windows up and down. Oh, no, that's a girl. And now that I've become an adult, I just feel like I have become the adult I wanted to be when I was a sick, dying kid in a hospital bed, and having doctors tell me what I can and cannot do, and all that kind of goes out the window. And I've become an adult, and I struggle with it every day, but I do not have any handouts or anybody holding my hand. I'm working very hard, and I'm trying to achieve very big things, which a part of it is the YouTube. I wanted to be more than just a guy that occasionally talked to people about cars. I wanted to be a guy that people want to talk to about cars, because he cares more about the cars he's driving, owning, around, than just, yeah, I mean, it's cool, whatever. I was out with my dad last night in his vet. He's got a C7 Stingray, and he has had it in the exact same settings since the day he bought it. He's not changed absolutely anything. He does not put different modes on. He did not change the theme for his driver information center. He has changed nothing about the car. And I was just like, what are you doing, man? Like, why don't you experience the car, and why don't you do this, that, and the other? Well, I don't know how to. And I mean, that's fair. He's never read his owner's manual. He's never looked up videos. He's never asked me about it. So I explained a few things to him, and I found he would approach corners in it, and he would slow right down and take him at, 10 miles an hour. And it's like, why are you going so slow? I don't want the car to, slip out. And it's like, do you have any idea the performance level of this automobile and what it feels like to be there? He's like, well, no, I don't know what it'll do. I was like, you got to turn your G-force meter on, and you need to understand the automobile. So then when people tell me, like, oh, well, you just bought this car because you're compensating, it's like, no, I bought this car because I did 6 months worth of research before even comprehending buying one. Never mind the 6 to 8 week process I went through to buy one, to now be here. So then when I share the videos with you guys, it's just me trying to not just be another guy with the car. I really want you guys to understand the passion I have behind this automobile, And I think quite a few of you have picked up on that, and you have been sharing some really nice stories or comments of your own, and I've really appreciated it. It's pretty neat, and I've learned a lot through that way. And I've enjoyed owning the automobile I'm sharing. I have watched a lot of people review this car, and I can honestly say that none of them did it justice. They showed tidbits of this and that or the other, and they teased you a little bit with some of the footage, but none of them bought the car. None of them owned the car. The only guy I will give any credit to that reviewed it was Subaru WRX fan, because he owns a Mustang. He reviewed, I believe he did all 3 engine packages in the Camaro. I know he did the V6 and the V8. I watched both of those. And he did the traffic. And then he did the Mustangs as well. And he owned the Ford EcoBoost Mustang. Ooh, there's a Lotus with a burnt out headlight. A Lotus would be a really fun car to have, but I don't know. I'm not really into the whole like micro car game. Oof, and there's just something about a V8 that is so good. So good. So he did all of those vehicles, and he now owns the Ford GT, and he seems to really like his car, but he owns it, he drives it, he dailies it, he road trips it, he is away from it for weeks at a time, so he experiences all of the same emotions an owner would experience. So when he reviewed the car, I had a little bit more respect for that, because even though his name is WRX fan, he owns a Ford Mustang, and he is a part of the muscle car culture. Whereas everybody else, it's like I bought, you know, a Ricer, or I bought a Subaru and I pimped it out or did whatever with it, but I would never buy a muscle car. But then they get in and drive it, it's like, this car's unbelievable, it's so fast and it sounds so good and it's comfortable and everything about it is so good, but I'd never buy one. And it's like, I don't really understand that. And from watching all these different reviews, I did drive the V6, and I would have very gladly bought the V6. I think it's a lot better than it is promoted to be. It does not feel like a V6. It feels like a performance V6. It really does rev well, and the car pulls really nicely, and you can speed at excessive amounts all the time with absolutely no issues. The tires will break loose quite often. It has a great exhaust sound. I was shocked. So when people tell me I'm compensating because I bought this big burly American V8, I don't agree at all, because this wasn't the only car I was willing to buy, or the only package. You know, oh, I had to have this because, you know, I'm pretentious and I have to show everybody else up. I mean, by no means. This was the dream right here. Should I have waited for a 1 Elite? No. And I'll get into another video on that, but I don't buy things because someday I might do something like go to the track, or it would be cool to have a package that does things that I don't do. I've never been to a racetrack with a car. I've never even been to a racetrack event, and I would really like to, and I think this car is extremely confident to do so with, but there's a lot of things that need to happen from now until the time to which I am able to go to the racetrack. One of which is seasonal change. We're getting into the winter. Another is money. I mean, if I have to put a set of brakes and tires on it after a race day because I go all ham on it, I mean, it's got to all line up and it's got to all happen. But I mean, I could have bought the V6 and I would have been very pleased with it. I drove it with the dual mode exhaust and that, and I mean, it had a really nice crisp rasp to it. It had the downshift noise. I mean, it really had everything I wanted out of a car. It was fast and comfortable and fun. But when I got the opportunity to buy this and I started pricing out the different cars, they wanted, and I seen a 2017 2LT RS sitting in the showroom floor where I bought this, and it was on for 52,000 Canadian. And I spent 46,000 Canadian on this car, which is all the same interior packages, but it has the V8. That car did not have a sunroof. I don't think it had magnetic ride. I don't think you can get the V6 with magnetic ride. I could be wrong, and correct me in the comments below if I am. I do not always pretend to know everything about everything and always be right. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I just could not believe the amount of money they wanted for the V6 version when I spent so much less on the V8. I mean, it is what it is. I'm sure both cars have their pros and cons, which I don't know. I don't really know. This car's great on gas. It performs well. It's got all the same interior goodies. I do prefer the grille setup on the V8 a little bit more, but I do prefer the LED lighting on the Rally Sport. I think the vertical LED lights have a meaner stance to it, but I think GM did bad when they put it on the ZL1, because I think a lot of people who are not car people will not differentiate the two as being completely different ends of the spectrum. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that turns out. I don't know. I think they should have combined the two. I think they should have had the horizontal light like this car has that matches the light above, and then had the vertical light on both. So you kind of have like step 1, step 2, and step 3 is all of the above. I think that would have been a really fun alternative and given every model line and every owner their own owning experience, because that's what these cars are. It's a real experience to own them from start to finish, and from purchasing to maintenance, to selling. Where's roadkill? I totally avoided that. Anyway, guys, let me know below. Do you think owning obnoxiously powerful vehicles is compensating in any way? Do you think living a more luxurious lifestyle is compensating? Recycle bin, boop. Dodge that like a boss. So let me know. I know I keep cutting out here and there because things come up, and I kind of have that squirrel mentality about me sometimes. Ooh, right in front of a cyclist. You don't see that too often. He did not look happy at all. And I bet you that car didn't even see the cyclist. Sad. Anyway, guys, take care. Please comment below on the camera angles. I am consistently tweaking Mustang convertible. I see a blue one all the time. I haven't seen the dark red one like that. Please comment below on the camera angles. What do you guys think? Do you want to see me? Do you want to see the car like you're doing now? I like this type of setup. I like that you guys get to kind of see what I'm doing, and you can kind of see my gauges, and I don't know, it's just more fun that way, rather than just looking at me and seeing roads just disappearing behind me all the time and seeing me talk. Or do you just want me to mix it up? I am planning on buying a new camera, hopefully next month, coming into November time. We'll see. I just got a lot of things to do from now until then, and I want to make sure that everything lines up as I need them to do, so I can start doing multiple angles once that happens, and just have more fun with it. So take care, guys. Drive safe.